right there if anything's there. Okay. Anybody? Oh, you guys are here already. Oh my gosh, you're early. I thought I would get in here early and get things set up, but you're all already here. Welcome, welcome. Just wanted to make sure I had everything in order. We were on screen. Move these lights a little bit. Excuse me a minute. Get this camera situated. Hi guys. Hi Glinda. I have you as a moderator still. And Terry. Terry is on the road watching. And Guadalupe is back. Michelle. I see a lot of familiar names. I'm going to give it a few minutes, you guys. I really wasn't planning on being live quite yet. I just want to make sure everything was good to go. And I told everybody we would be live at 3. So we are a little bit early. I have been cutting things out all morning, getting ready for this. So we're going to cover a few things. What's everybody up to today? I started a quilt project for the Cricut Quilters. Hi, Doris, for the Cricut Quilters group. Let me just say I've never quilted before, and it's not as easy as it looks. New respect for quilters. I always respected it, but didn't realize how difficult it is. Oh, look at you. Putting the one if you're new. Thanks for joining us. Glad everybody is here. Like I said, we're a few minutes early. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. I thought I would sneak on here and nobody'd be here yet. George is working on a Disney iron-on. Sorry you're not feeling well, Kathy Ann. Welcome, Karen. Mike's been cutting out vinyl. Welcome, Janice. I have been laying low today. Got ready for the video this morning and then, like I said, started the quilt project. Other than that, I've been trying to get the house in order. Yes, for those of you who are new, we have a Cricut Easy Press group, and hopefully I'm going to post a whole bunch of links right here that are probably going to come up during the video. So if one of the moderators want to copy and paste this when somebody asks, they're welcome to. Ooh, I don't know if that's going to work. We'll see how this looks. Might not work. Nope. Well, so much for that idea. But anyway, I will post here a link to the Cricut Easy Press group. Love to have you all there. We love to see what everybody's making, inspire each other. It's a very positive group. please join us over there. It's solely focused on the Cricut Easy Press and iron-on. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and post a link to, I can only post one link at a time it looks like, so here is a link to the Easy Press. Here is a link to Cricut Iron-On. And you guys, anytime that you order from the Cricut website, you are welcome to use my code, LORRIE. I don't get anything for that. It doesn't do anything for me, but it will get you 15% off and free shipping from Cricut supplies on the website. It does not apply to the machines, but it does apply to the iron-on and any supplies. Here is the weeding tool set that I'm going to be, or that I weeded everything with, and then one more, because I know it's going to come up. Well, two more. Copy. Here is the Steady Betty. And here is the Target pressing pad or Walmart pressing pad. All right, so I know those will all come up during the video. And those are affiliate links to the products. I do get a little bit of something for those, but not for the code. You can always use the code anytime you want. And yes, the code works with the tools. 15% off and free shipping. And if you're an Access member, you get 10% additionally off. So it's a pretty good deal. Especially when they have like iron-on sales. It's a really good deal. All right, guys, it's getting close enough, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's get our pressing pad over here. And before somebody asks, this is the Steady Betty pressing pad. This is made for sewers or sewists. You can get it online. I've linked it. You can get it at Joann's. This is not something that you have to go out and buy. You can use a regular old bathroom towel that's folded up. You can use, this is a pressing pad that we bought at Target. They also have them at Walmart. I've seen them from $5 to $10. This is just a thin ironing board type material with a plastic vinyl back on the back, and it's got heat resistant material in the middle. But it's very important when you're using the Easy Press that you start with a solid flat surface. Nicole, yes, mine has foam in it. The Steady Betty does not. This is just wood covered in, it's kind of a foam, an ironing foam. But the this pressing pad does have just, I don't know, it's probably just that heat resistant batting in it. I guess probably not foam. It's a little cushiony. But anyway, the first thing to start with when you're using the Easy Press is you need a solid, hard, flat surface. That does not include a plastic resin table. The problem with plastic resin tables is, 1, they're not heat resistant. 2, the heat can cause them to warp. 3, they're soft enough and have enough give to them that when you're putting the press down, it can bow under there, and just the slightest bit of bow is going to give you a problem getting your iron-on to stick the way it needs to stick. So you need a hard, solid surface. Now, I think you could get away with a plastic resin table if you put a wood cutting board on top of it, or something that's not going to bend, that is solid. But basically, I would stay away from the plastic resin tables. I've had at least 3 or 4 different people in the group saying, oh my gosh, my Easy Press doesn't work, nothing's sticking. And all of them have been using plastic resin tables. I had them take it to their kitchen counter, try it, fix the problem. So you cannot use a plastic resin table. So keep that in mind. When they say hard, solid surface, they mean hard, solid with no give. Okay? Even if you're using a piece of wood, make sure it's not warped in any way. You need something totally flat. I'm using the Steady Betty. Again, you can get this on Amazon, you can get it at Joann's. So we've got the surface covered. Also, don't use an ironing board. Ironing boards have a variegated bottom. If you take all the padding off, they're a variegated bottom. That allows for, one, for the heat to go right through it, and two, it allows, it's not a flat, solid surface. So no ironing boards either. Now, before we get into actually pressing something, I get a lot of questions on different types of vinyl and problems people are having. And quite often we find that they're trying to use adhesive vinyl. You must use iron-on, or some people call it HTV, also known as heat transfer vinyl. So there is a difference. If you are purchasing vinyl, and actually let me grab a roll of each. So here is, all right, if you're buying the Cricut brand and it has a blue label on it, this is not for iron-on or easy press. This is an adhesive vinyl. When you're looking for Cricut vinyl to use with the easy press or to iron on a shirt, you want the purple label on the top, okay? Now it comes in different types. It comes in foil, it comes in glitter, it comes in matte colors, all different kinds, but make sure you're using the one that says iron on it. It'll say it right here, iron on, and it'll have the purple label. If you're using something with the blue label, that's not iron on. Now, if you're using Caesar Easy Weed, that is the equivalent of Cricut Light iron on. It's pretty much the same thing. So Caesar Easy Weeding is iron on, HTV, same thing. Now, if you have scraps or you have a piece, and here are just some scraps, and you're like, oh my goodness, I don't know if this is iron on, I don't know if this is adhesive, I'm not sure what this is. There's an easy way to tell. You're going to take your weeding tool, if you can't tell by looking at it. First of all, adhesive vinyl is usually matte, unless you're using an outdoor variety. Then it'll have a little more gloss to it. Iron-on transfer comes with the transfer tape already on it, so it's always glossy and shiny like this. This doesn't have that. If you're looking at it and you still can't tell if it's iron-on or not, take a corner and just peel it up. Okay? And if it is sticky and it doesn't have a clear transfer paper on it, that's adhesive vinyl. That is not iron-on. Iron-on is not sticky, tacky like this. Okay? On the other hand, if you take a piece of iron-on and you peel it up on the corner, I'll show you what you're going to get. Iron-on comes with its own transfer tape, so you're going to have this clear backing. Can you see that? If I put that up there, no, that doesn't help. Trying to see what you see. So you have this clear transfer tape that comes with iron-on. So if you can't tell, just peel it back a little bit. And this is not sticky. So that is an iron-on material. Now normally iron-on is the same color on the back, maybe it's a little more muted, but you can see through it, you can see the color. However, sometimes it has a white back. So it can look like adhesive vinyl, sort of. But if I peel this back, let me pull it back. There you see, I have that clear transfer tape, and this is not sticky, so I know this is iron-on. Okay? So I hope that clears up the different types of iron-on and vinyl. Okay, that should help you. If it has this glossy finish on the front, it is iron-on. A lot of people ask, what kind of transfer tape do I need to buy to do iron-on? You don't need to. It already has it on there. Okay, so that covers that. The next thing I want to cover is layering. Everybody has asked about layering and how to layer different types of HTV. So I have this old t-shirt that I'm going to be using for my demonstration here. So I'm going to just turn it over. We're just going to mess on the back. All right. Now, the first thing you're always going to do before you press is pre-press. And what that's going to do is take out any wrinkles in your fabric, and it's going to remove any moisture in your fabric. Now, one thing we see a lot in the Easy Press group, people say, is it necessary to pre-wash your fabric? No, I rarely pre-wash it unless I'm using an old shirt, which I normally don't. If I'm putting HTV on something or iron-on on something, I'm generally starting with a new shirt and I never pre-wash it. A lot of people say don't use fabric softener before you apply. If you're going to pre-wash, don't use fabric softener. I can tell you my wash test shirt that I have been testing, the Easy Press versus the Heat Press, Caesar Easy Weed, has 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46 washes now. This was an old t-shirt to start with. So this has been washed with fabric softener, dried, all kinds of stuff. So whether you use fabric softener or not, that's up to you. I don't find it makes a huge difference if you apply your initial application correctly. So first thing you're going to do is pre-press your surface. Now, I guess maybe this is the time. Well, let's talk about layering. First of all, if you're going to layer vinyl, there's a couple different things to take into consideration. If you're layering vinyl and it is all plain vinyl, no glitter, you can just layer on top of layer on top of layer. What you don't want to do is iron plain vinyl on top of glitter. You never want to iron on top of glitter. Iron-on. You can put glitter on top of regular iron-on. So I'm going to walk you through this because I know that sounds confusing. So first we're going to do this little design. And I just went on the Cricut website or the Cricut design space and just picked out a layered shape to give you some ideas. So if you were going to layer something and you wanted 3 colors and you're using plain vinyl, which means that includes the metallic vinyl, the Cricut light vinyl, you can layer on top of anything that's not textured. You can layer on top of the foil. You want to be careful with that, but any of them that are smooth on the top, you can layer on top of. So I just picked this is a metallic, and what I would do is put this down on my shirt. I'm going to start over here because we've got other stuff to demonstrate. And I'm going to look at the Cricut recommended settings. Now, go by this chart, even if you're using Caesar brand. The reason being, the Caesar charts, I love them, they're very handy, but they are made for industrial heat presses where you are clamping down on this, and you know, like when you cook a sandwich, if you push down on it, you're going to melt that cheese a lot faster than if you just lay it in the pan like this, okay? And with the heat press, you're not clamping down with all that pressure, so you need to go by the time that's on the Cricut recommended settings. This is available in our group, in the files group. There's a file called Help Section or Help Center, and it's also available on Cricut's website, so we can get that linked for you. And you guys, I'm sorry if I'm missing your questions at the end. I'll go back and answer yours if the moderators or other members here can't. So we're going to look at our setting. I'm using a metallic vinyl by Cricut, which is this column, and I'm putting it on cotton, which is telling me I need my Easy Press set at 305 for 30 seconds. So I'm going to grab my Easy Press. I'm going to up the temperature to 305 just by hitting temp. Bring it to 305 and let it go. It will rise itself up to that temperature, and the timer is already set for 30 seconds, but if it wasn't, I would hit timer and I can hit up or down and let it go until it sets. Now, You don't want to press until this light turns green. It's red while it's heating up. It will tell you the temperature while it's on the screen, so you can watch it climb. So we need it to be 305 for 30 seconds. Now, while we're waiting, the second type of vinyl we're going to use is just standard Cricut Light. So what I would do is look on here. I'm on Cotton Cricut Light, 305, 30 seconds. So we don't have any conflict in temperatures here. I can press everything at the same temperature. We'll get to what happens when we have different materials, okay? So this is real simple. If you are pressing more than one layer and it all requires the same temperature, this is what you're going to do. You're going to put your first layer down, and you're going to press it for about 2-3 seconds and lift. Check and see if it's stuck. And ooh, it is. All right, it's not stuck. Right now, if we were to wash this would come right off, but it's stuck enough. Since we're doing layers, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take the next layer, we're gonna line that up. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna press this for, I don't know, 2-3 seconds. So 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. All right. And again, go ahead and lift it up. Okay, now we're on our final layer. So what we're going to do, and the reason I put this tape on here is because this is not a symmetrical design, and it took me a minute to figure, if you shift the holes over, they don't line up. So it's got to be this way. So I just did that to remind me where to line it up. So this is how you would line up or do layered vinyl that all requires the same temperature settings. So now I'm on my final layer. I'm not going to add anything else. So now I'm going to press it, hit the timer, and do it for the full 30 seconds. Nicole, this was Cricut Standard Light and Cricut Metallic. The silver and gold is the metallic, and the black was Cricut Light. So we're just waiting for the timer to go off. And I'm just applying a gentle pressure. Nothing hard. I'm not even white knuckled or anything else. And now we're on our final layer. So we can lift this off. And that's kind of cool. All right. So one thing you want to do whenever you're finished pressing is turn it over and press from the other side. Again, this is an old shirt that I'm using, so I don't really care about it, but you would press it from the other side. Now, if you were doing the front and back of a shirt and you didn't want to repress that, I mean, you were afraid to repress over something that's already been pressed, that's when you can use your Teflon sheet. So then you don't have to worry about burning what's on the back. Oops, I should have hit the timer. So that's one use for this Teflon sheet. I'm going to show you a couple others. But if you're doing the front and the back of a shirt and you don't want to mess up the other side, but you need to press it from the back side, that's one way you could get around it. You could also put a towel in there, turn it wrong side out, and do the back of it. But the Teflon sheet makes it super simple. All right. Ooh, that Teflon sheet, get that. So there is my first layered vinyl. Now that, again, that was Cricut Metallic vinyl and Cricut Standard Light. They both require 305 for 30 seconds. So that one's pretty simple. Now we're going to get a little trickier. Next we're going to do, what if you want to do something like this. This is a Cricut Standard Light, and this is glitter. I can put glitter on top of Standard Light. Standard Light is smooth, glitter's textured, so this is totally doable. The problem we have is Cricut Standard Light is 305 for 30 seconds. Cricut Glitter is 340 for 20 seconds. Now, there are a couple different ways to do this. There's always more than one. What I would do on this one is split the difference. I would put, that says 305, this one says 340, so I would probably go like 325. So I'm going to up my temperature. And it's not an exact science. But because I don't want to burn the Standard Light and the glitter's got to go on top. So I'm going to go halfway in between, okay? So let's see how this works. Now, I'm going to, let's see, let's move this over here so I can stay off of that. I don't want to confuse you. We'll do it down here. Let me move that up. Can you see? Okay, so we're going to put the first one down. We've changed our setting to 325. It just beeped. It's green to let us know it's up to temperature. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go just a couple seconds. And then we're going to take that off, remove our transfer paper. And actually, put that back down. Wasn't quite stuck, so do it a couple more seconds. You just need it long enough to stick. Perfect. Now we can line up the glitter on top. Now the glitter said 20 seconds at 340. I'm at 325 because I lowered it for the Standard Light, and that took 30 seconds. So I'm going to go 30 seconds. Again, I'm going to go the longer time at a lower temperature. And we will be fine. So we're going to hit the timer. So again, this is my top layer, so I can do the full time. And I'm doing 30 seconds. Now, this is kind of guesswork. I'm going to show you another way I would, if you weren't layering it on top, how I would handle the glitter. But for this application, this is how I would do it. And again, we are, oh. See if we're stuck here. There we go. So there you go. That is layering glitter on top of regular vinyl. Now I would probably, and I almost always, give another press. I'm going to put, because this is glitter and I don't want that to burn, I'm going to put this Teflon over it, and I'm going to press it for a few seconds right over the top just to make sure that's secure. And then you would flip it over and press it from the back. Okay? Always flip it over and press from the back. That looks great. So that's that way. Now what if you wanted the glitter to be the outline and the green to be where the love is? Let me show you how to do that. So this time I'm going to put the glitter on the bottom and the green in the middle. Now remember I said never layer on top of glitter. The reason for that is it will show the texture of the glitter. So what I've done in Design Space, and I know you can do this on the Cameo too, I used to be a Cameo girl, if we have any silhouette, is I sliced out the word love from that. So I'm not going to be layering it over the glitter, even though it looks like it. Hey Ken! So even though it looks like I am layering over glitter, I'm not. I sliced out the middle, so it is not going to get that texture from the glitter. Okay? Now, since I can apply the glitter first, what I'm going to do is look at my chart, 340, 20 seconds. So I'm going to go temperature 340, I'm going to up it, and the timer's 20 seconds, but since we're doing multiple layers, I'm not really too concerned about the timer. So I'm going to wait till that comes up to temp. I'm going to put this, we'll do this one. Let's see, do I have anything else to go on this shirt? No, I'll do this one over here. So we're waiting for our temperature for the glitter vinyl, or the glitter HTV, to come up to 340. Now, different than this, because we were layering over it, but this, I can go ahead and up that temperature and not worry about scorching this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. And again, I'm not going to do the full time. Let's let it count down to maybe half the time. I want to make sure that glitter's on well. So we'll let that count down. All right, that should be good. So I'm going to peel this off. And we aren't quite stuck all the way. A couple more seconds. I'm kind of finding I'm not getting... I'm going to try something here, guys. Just an experiment. I'm getting rid of the Steady Buddy. I'm going to use this because this is going to give me a harder surface. I think that Steady Buddy's giving me a little bit of problem because this should be sticking better. Let's try this. Okay. This could also be some old glitter. There we go. So we have that layer down. Now where'd my love go? Ay, ay, ay. All right, you guys, where did I put my love? Did you see it? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Stuck to the back of the shirt. All right. So we want glitter on the bottom layer and we want this on the top layer. So what we're going to do is bring our temperature back down now, 305. So let's lower the temperature. Let that cool off. Make sure you let it cool off. We're going to go ahead and line this up. And this is going to give us the look that the vinyl is laying on top, or the iron-on is laying on top of the glitter. But it's really not because we've sliced that out. So that's how, if you want glitter to be on the offset or the shadow layer, that's how I would handle it. Oh, you guys, I should have read the comments. You guys knew where that love was. All right, we're letting this cool down. So is this helpful? I mean, are you guys understanding the difference of layering different kinds of vinyl and how to handle it? I know it's kind of confusing, but once you get it, you'll get it. The most important thing, Ken, I know you know how to do it. He has a very good layering with the heat press video. Very intricate layering. The other thing I want to mention is if you are layering something solid like this, 3 layers is good. Anything above that, I would start maybe doing this method and slicing it out because it starts to get heavy when you have that much vinyl on there. And that's not real comfortable. It can get hot in your shirt. Ken was blocked for chatting. We're just waiting on the heat press to come down to temperature. Always watch, make sure your light is green. That means you're at the temperature you're supposed to be. Wow, Ken, I didn't know that. That stinks. You would think they would encourage people to comment. If you don't understand slicing, I have a Cricut design space for beginners. video, and I go pretty in-depth into the slicing feature of Design Space. I'm not really going to get into Design Space in this video. Hi Karen, I didn't see you there. All right, we're down to 305, so I'm going to go ahead. This is my last layer, so I'm going to press it for the full time. Hi Brenda. Oh, sorry guys, somebody just knocked on the door. It's all right, shh. Hey, Wrigley. Just waiting for the timer. Wrigley, come here. All right, sorry guys, let me mute for a second. Oops. Oh, I should have watched what I'm doing. Alright. Unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention. I pulled that up a little bit. But again, I would put the Teflon sheet down and press it for another 10 or 15 seconds. And then flip it over and press the back side. I'm not going to be doing the back side every time we do this on the video, but always press it from the back. And now that is adhered. So that's how you handle glitter, multiple temperatures, and you know, if you want glitter on the bottom, if you want glitter on the top. It's different applications depending on what you're doing. So that's that. Now we're going to do some actual projects. Riggs, come on, come over here. I'm sorry guys. Hold on. Shh. Come here. Come here. Okay, so now we're going to do, I'm going to talk about pressing pillows. I don't know if you guys saw this, but I made these on the Cricut Maker. The stocking. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Riggs. Alright, he's gone. So sorry guys, I had a delivery and the mailman was here. Okay, so I made this on the Maker. I applied this with the Easy Press, or actually I used an iron, but you could use the Easy Press. And I wanted to personalize it, so I thought I would go ahead and do that on screen. Now, pressing pillows. Get a lot of questions about pressing pillows. What's the purpose? What do you use them for? Pressing pillows are used to raise things up so that when I put the Easy Press down right here, it's not going to set on the seams over here and keep the press from making contact. The same with a onesie. If you have a onesie and it's sitting flat like this and you put the Easy Press on, quite often the press is resting up here on these seams or resting right here or on these side seams. Even on a t-shirt, a hoodie, anything that has a little bit of bulk, that can keep your Easy Press from making full contact. So that's the importance of a pressing pillow. These are just some ones that I made, handmade. You can make them, you can purchase them, or I have a video on these, by the way, if you want to know how to make them. Or if you don't have a pressing pad, don't have a way to make them, don't want to make them, you can just roll a towel up, and I have some stuff. You can roll a towel up or a piece of fabric. Just take a piece of fabric like this, and again, you would take your onesie and just raise that pressing area right here up a little bit, and that would work. Don't have fabric or a towel, you could use, this is just a paper pad. I could do that. Just something to raise it up above the seam. So you don't have to go out and buy pressing pads. It makes it easy. It makes it simple. I like them. They're Teflon, so they're heat resistant. I prefer to use the pressing pads, but it's not something that you have to run out and buy. Okay, so I actually made a pressing pad to fit just for these stockings. everybody asks what size to make. Well, the base of your Easy Press is 9 by 9. So really, if you have 10 by 10, that's as big as you need. You can go bigger if you want. And then I like a smaller size, something like this, or I have a couple that are even narrower to put for a onesie. So it really depends on what you're doing. Like I said, I made this one specifically to fit in here. So what size pressing pad you need depends on what you're using the most applications for. So this is going to be a really simple application. This is flannel, which would be kind of a, let's just go with a cotton setting, 305. This is a regular Cricut light. So we're going to go to the 305 for 30 seconds. I'm going to line it up. And again, I have the pressing pillow in here, which is very important in this application because this otherwise would sink down and not make full contact with the Easy Press. So I'm going to put the Easy Press right on there, hit my timer. Pull this down so you guys can see. It's very important you have full flat contact. This is just one layer, so I'm going to go the full time. All right. Now you want to check. I was a little concerned because it's going right around that edge, but it is stuck. Looks great. Perfect. Now, since I'm not going to press from the back because of the way this stocking is, I would probably just lay this back down and give it a second press instead of pressing from the back. If you're looking for the Easy Press group, let me link it here for you while we're waiting on this. Copy. There you go. All right, so we got a second press. I'm confident with that. I can see a little bit of the texture coming through, which is a good sign. And that's done. Okay, now we're going to visit another kind of multi-layering. I'm going to do this onesie for my granddaughter. And the first thing I like to do when I am pressing a garment is press it in half lengthwise. So I'm going to line the shoulders up, line the garment up, and I'm going to press the side of this so I can get a crease in there. And also, remember, we always want to pre-press our garment to get the what size onesie pillow? To get the moisture out and the to heat up the fabric and the wrinkles. Get those out. All right, now what I've done by ironing that down the middle is I've created a center point. Don't always go by the tag on your t-shirt. They're quite often not in the center. Now, this is what I'm going to put on here. All right, do you see where my issue is going to be? I have glitter, I have metallic. What temperature am I going to use? And I want to show you how I am going to approach this. So this is in 2 layers. I just stuck it together so you could see. And remember when we did the other one, if we can put the glitter on first, that's best because we can up the temperature and not worry about burning anything else. So what I like to do is take the design, fold it in half lengthwise where I'm just lining up. I'm not lining up the edges of my heat transfer. I'm lining up the edges of the actual design. And I'm going to crease it at the top, crease it at the bottom. Okay. Now I can place that right on that center line right there where that crease is and right there. And that's going to tell me that's pretty close to being centered. If you want, you can also press a crease in half this way and line it up that way. but I generally find this works really well. Now a onesie, good rule of thumb is 2 to 3 finger length from the top. Sometimes it's hard to gauge how high to put these. Let me get that light a little better. So 2 to 3 finger lengths from the top of the onesie to the top of the design is considered good placement. An adult shirt, 4 fingers. You would start the design right here. Okay? It's a little higher than you think it is. Now we look at our chart, and again, we're on cotton, we're using glitter, so I'm going to up that temperature to 340. And this says 20 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and do that 20 seconds. I don't think that's going to matter, even though we're doing multiple layers. Glitter is pretty sturdy. Now, I want to put my pressing pillow under here so I can raise it up off of these seams. Again, if you don't have a pressing pillow, use a towel. Just make sure if you're using a towel or fabric that you aren't creating more seams underneath of it. Make sure the part that you're pressing on is very flat. All right, we're just waiting for the press to heat up. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and press this 20 seconds at 340. This time we're not layering on top of the vinyl. So it's kind of a different scenario. I could lift it up and go ahead and put the other vinyl on, but I'm pretty confident with the letting it go the full 20, so I know that the glitter is stuck down. Check it. Looks perfect. Love it. All right, now we have our other layer. While we're placing that, we're gonna look at our chart. This is standard metallic, 305, 30 seconds. So we're gonna put that temperature back down. And I love how fast the Easy Press heats up and cools down. 9:30. Okay, so now we're going to line this up. And here is where I can see my pressing pillow is a little bit too small. Be able to get, well, maybe I can move it over. I want to make sure I get both edges. Oh, I'm good. On the pressing pad. You can line this up. So a lot of times when I see people have problems with the onesie, it's almost always because they're not using anything under it. Especially when you're doing like a newborn size, it's almost impossible to get the press on there without touching these seams. This is a 24 months, so this one's a little bit bigger, but when you're doing those tiny ones, like I said, it's really hard to get it on there without touching those seams so that you're getting a nice flat pressing surface. Just letting the Easy Press cool down. We're almost done here, guys. Then I'm going to answer some questions. I have not tried rhinestones, Georgia. If anybody here that's watching has, feel free to chime in. I have not done the rhinestones with the Easy Press. I've never messed with rhinestones. Karen might, if Karen's still here, she might have done that. All right, we're just letting the Easy Press cool down. No, Karen hasn't tried the rhinestones. Karen says she'll give it a try. Karen has a Cricut group called Cricut School, if you're not in there. She also has a YouTube channel. as well as Ken Hess, if he's still here. You guys are welcome to put your links up. We're just waiting on the press to cool down. Yeah, it's set for 3:05. Do you use HTV when putting it on canvas? Yes, I have done several canvas bags. And again, for a canvas bag, you would just use cotton canvas. And depending on what type you're using, I have a couple videos using canvas bags. Okay, so we're at 3:05, so I'm going to go the full time and hit timer. Glenda says somebody asked in Melody's video about rhinestones yesterday too. I'll let Karen do that. She's already got them. Karen's also got a silhouette group, if there's any silhouette users here. So there we go. And this came out great. I will tell you guys that some HTV does have a shelf life. I know that some of it that I used today is probably getting on the old side. So if you have problems that you just, and you know you're applying it right, it could be you just got old vinyl that's dried out. All right, I'm going to turn this over. This is actually one Evie's going to wear, and I'm going to give it a full press from the back. Have you ever tried iron-on a blank? Yes, I just did a video on a burlap canvas, and I also have one where I used iron-on with heat and bond and fabric on a canvas using the Easy Press. I have 2 videos on that. If you check out my channel, you'll see those. All right, so now we've got the onesie done. And again, I can see a little bit of texture in the Cricut Light. Now you can't really see texture of the fabric when you're using glitter, but you can when you're using Cricut Light. And this fabric is so fine that it's not really, I don't really see lines, but I can see texture of the fabric. So I know that I have good adhesion. Always let your iron-on projects cure for 24 hours before you wash them. That's another little tip. I try, and I usually let mine go a little bit longer than that, but try to let those iron-on projects sit for a little bit before you throw them in the wash. Now, I wash and dry my stuff. Cricut doesn't recommend drying it. They don't recommend putting it through the bleach. But as I showed at the beginning of the video, I don't know if you guys saw it, all of you, but this has been washed 46 times now. I don't know if you've been following me, you know, every time I do a load of laundry, I put this in there. This side I applied with the heat press. This side I applied with the Easy Press. Both of them I use, this is Cricut iron-on, this is Caesar iron-on, this is Cricut iron-on. And I did it to see if, you know, the Caesar outlasted the Cricut, if the heat press outlasted the Easy Press. The only lifting I've had so far is right here on the side of this H, on the heat press side, and it's actually not too bad now. Like I said, I wash this, I dry this. This has gone through the bleach. Not recommended by Cricut. Don't put them in your bleach loads. I'm just literally throwing this in every single load. I was hanging it dry when I first started, and I'm horrible at remembering that, so I just said, to heck with it, I'm throwing it in the dryer, and I have been. This C also lifted at one point, but I think the heat from the dryer has actually made it go back down. But other than that, I have no lifting, 46 washes. I can't say the Cricut or the Caesar is better. The fact that it's this H and this C that lifted slightly, and that was a few washes back, it's right on the edge, so I'm wondering if maybe I just didn't have full coverage there. So I really don't think it was the heat press. But again, Easy Press versus heat press. It's up to you what you want. The Easy Press takes a little bit longer, but it doesn't take up as much space. It's portable. You can take it. I've seen some great ideas, people doing onesie stations at baby showers, which I think is an absolute, that would be so fun to do. Everybody gets to make their own little onesie at a baby shower, take turns, have a station, or a birthday party, let kids, you know, make their, obviously with supervision, or maybe mom can do the pressing, but how fun. And it's portable, so you could take it anywhere. Now, a couple other things I wanted to cover quickly. When to use the Teflon sheet. This is Cricut foil iron-on, which I love. Terry and I made this in Chicago with the Easy Press. This was my very first Easy Press project, or our very first Easy Press project. Now, if I were going to add something else to this, say I was going to put a pineapple up here or add something else, so I needed to do another layer on this, that is when I would use the Teflon sheet. It's going to protect that foil from getting burnt. So I would put, if I had another project or something to put on here, I would put that down, put this on, and then follow the instructions. You can use the Teflon sheet every single time if you want. This is the Cricut one. This is a lot heavier than the ones that you get with a heat press. It's a lot thicker than the ones that we make the pressing pillows with. It's totally different. What this does is it distributes the heat evenly from the press. This is a pretty even surface, and that's why with a heat press you always use a Teflon sheet. It distributes that heat because heat presses are generally not the same temperature throughout the platen. So it distributes the heat, and it also protects stuff that's already on there. Another scenario when I would be sure and use the Teflon sheet is I bought this tote bag from the Target dollar spot, and if I wanted to put something on here, I would definitely make sure that at least this part was covered. It would protect this. If I was putting iron on something that was silk and I couldn't take the heat of the press, I would use this. So the Teflon sheet, it's not required for normal everyday pressing. You can use it. It's not going to hurt anything. Teflon sheet in the Easy Press box. No, you don't get the Teflon sheet with it. This is a separate purchase. It's like $4.99 at Cricut.com, and if you use my code, you get 15% off that and free shipping. If you're an Access member, you get 10% off that, so you can get this for a couple bucks. Okay, another application where I would use the Teflon sheet. Those Target leather-like bags. I did a video where I put this iron-on on here, and I did cover this with a Teflon bag because I was afraid the Easy Press would melt. This is actually a plastic material, a pleather, if you will. So I was afraid the Easy Press would melt that, so I used a Teflon sheet when I put the press on. So another scenario where you want to use something to protect your surface. And one other one, this is like the placemat. This is foil. So if I wanted to add something else on here, foil is very delicate and can burn pretty easily. So if you apply foil to something and then you're going to apply another layer, cover that foil up before you put that press back down so you don't scorch it. Alright, so that's the Teflon pad. Now one last little trick. Let me get my sample shirt out here again. So like I said, this is just an old t-shirt. We were just pressing on the back. We'll just keep using the back, I guess. I wanted to show you, when you weed your projects, you end up with stuff like that. Okay, this is the one from the onesie. So I have this big piece of glitter vinyl, or iron-on, and I don't want to waste all that. So this is what I like to do. This doesn't have any heat transfer. This is just the iron-on. What I'm going to do is cut this off, the stringy part. Perfect. Now you can take a punch and punch out these scraps. You could also do it with your Cricut or Silhouette. So I just punched out a heart. Here's another one. This one I didn't have in all the way. And you can totally iron this on without the transfer paper. So when I have little or big scraps like that of like the glitter, I just punch out these little hearts so I have like a whole little jar of these. So here is, again, here's some gold extras that I had. Now you can't use your punch if you still have the transfer paper on there, but when you don't have the transfer paper, it works. So that's just a little freebie tip for you. All right, guys, that's everything I had planned to show you. I know I went through it really quickly, but are there any other questions? Anything you want to say? I'm looking at my list here, things I wanted to cover, and I think we got it all. One question I saw in the groups was somebody asked me how to show how to apply iron-on to wood. Somebody asked me to show how to apply iron-on to a mug. Those are, you can do it. Those are applications that are better suited to permanent vinyl or regular adhesive vinyl. That's not really what the Easy Press is for, so I'm not going to demonstrate that. But some people want to put the glitter on wood or whatever. Trial and error. Go ahead and try it. I don't think it would be real difficult. I have tried it on the mug just for the fun of it, and like I said, that's really not the application. It's not meant for that. Cricut does not have the Easy Press pad out yet. They are reworking it. It will be coming out, but as of right now, it is not out. Any other questions that you guys have about layering, the pressing pads? Anything else? You need info on the Mickey head. Printable iron-on. Cricut has actually discontinued their printable iron-on, so I haven't tried that in a while. So I haven't tried it with the Easy Press at all. I would go by the iron-on instructions in the package. If you're buying like Avery, if it says cotton setting, that's what I would do for the Easy Press. Why do you press on the back? It just is a extra measure to take just to make sure that you have full adhesion by pressing on the back. I even did that when I used the heat press. I always did a second full press. Thanks, guys. You're looking for a link. I didn't see what you're looking for a link to, but if you're looking for Cricut iron-on, oh, you know what? You're probably copy, paste. If you're looking for the Teflon sheet, I don't know if I have that handy. I can get you one. Just hang on one second. Oh, I did have that. Let's see. Good. Well, I thought I had that handy. Let me find you the iron-on sheet. And good. Sorry, guys. Here we go. Oops. It's called the Cricut Iron-On Protective Sheet. And one second, I'll have a link for you. Unfortunately, the links are going to go away after we hang up. So I will link everything below the video. And here we go. If I can get back to you. Here you go. Here is the link to the Teflon sheet. All right. I'm sorry, Charlotte, did I miss your question? Will holographic HTV show texture once it's adhered? That would probably be harder to see because it's more of a solid top, more of a plasticky finish. I don't know that you would, I haven't tried the holographic, but I don't think you would probably see the texture. What temp is the first and final press? The first press, I mean, it really depends on what you're using. If you're using, you have to look at your chart, which is the Cricut recommended settings. So you're always going to use the temperature that's recommended for your first and final settings unless you're mixing different types of iron-on. In which case, you have to go back and watch the video. But if you're putting glitter on first, then you can reduce the heat to add regular iron-on and use the temperature that it says. But if you're putting a higher temp on top of a lower temp, then split the difference and then do your first and final press at the same temperature. Does that make sense? Oh, before you start, when you pre-press, again, use the temperature that it recommends. If you're doing a t-shirt and you're going to be pressing at any of the settings under cotton are going to be fine to pre-press your shirt. So just look at what your fabric is and, you know, adjust it accordingly. Like if you're doing silk, it's 255. If you're doing burlap, 305. It really doesn't matter. It's really just a matter of putting that heat on there to get the moisture and the wrinkles out. What is the Teflon sheet for? We went through that. You can go back and watch the video, but basically the Teflon sheet distributes the heat evenly and it protects your surface. And if you've put any iron-on that's delicate first, such as foil iron-on, that you don't want to burn or scorch if you've got to press over it. Yes, I will put the link to the Cricut sheet in the video afterwards. All right, guys, we've been on for about an hour, so I am going to let you go. Thanks everybody for being here. If you have any more questions, feel free to post them in the Easy Press group. Terry and I try to answer all the questions and at least look at all the posts. If we miss them, tag us. And everybody in that group is really great about helping each other. There's a lot of knowledgeable people in the group besides Terry. There's also a lot of Cricut employees in there that are always helping each other or helping the members. You guys are very welcome. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Get some rest, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.